I don't know who needs to hear this, and you might be wondering, should I watch this video? And I'm going to say, you probably need to watch this video. We're going to be talking about camera releases and new gear, and this search for trying to get the newest and working with the newest, latest, and greatest all the time. Not quite gas, but there's a little bit of a twist to it. So let's get started. Welcome to Raw Talk. My name is Carlos, and we talk about a lot of different things here in a very raw, unedited way. And today is no exception. The reason why we're making this video was inspired by a tweet. Can I even call it a tweet now that it's X? What do we call it? Whatever. I was going through Twitter, I was going through X, and I came across a tweet from MediaOnQ where he was essentially discussing the release or the announcement of the release of the Canon R1. And there was a statement in his tweet, X post, whatever. And in his post, and what I'll do is I'll just put it up on the screen so you guys can actually see what Maddie said. But the thing that stuck out to me was this idea that focusing on creators was not a priority. And it made me wonder, is the expectation that every camera company releases, that it should appeal to the online creator community exclusively or as a priority, and then serve other types of people as a secondary function? And from my perspective, it's actually really, really simple. The R1 is likely not for a YouTuber only type person, but it can be, because it sounds like it's going to be able to do video and it will be able to do stills. And both of those things for online creators is actually a really good thing. But there's one more important, really, really, really important factor here. And that is that every camera that has been released over the past, I would say 3 to 4 years, maybe 5 years, is a nuclear overkill for any type of delivery that's available to us today. Whether it be online, whether it's broadcast, or whether it's streaming of some sort, or it's going to end up in a media that gets streamed from a network into individual workstations or things like that. So, have the camera companies abandoned the creator? And I would say, no, they've kind of over-delivered. They've over-delivered to where the technology is so far ahead of anything that the actual platforms are able to successfully deal with and manage. Every single social media platform or streaming platform or online platform or platform that relies on the web to carry the signal is racing to the bottom of quality. Even Netflix, when you're paying for the 4K service, is also doing some weird compression thing to get the video into whatever device is actually decoding it. So, have the camera companies abandon the creators? And should the camera companies consider that the opinion of some of these very large channels should be the priority for how they position their products when they're both announced or released? And I would say, no. You know, as much, I would call myself a professional, and I'll tell you what my idea or definition of professional is. If you're able to make a living off of stills or video or the combination of the two, that's the category I fall into, and you're able to make a living, right? Then you are a professional. You're a working professional. And I realize that in the world of the camera world, in the YouTube community, not everyone is going to agree with my definition. And that's okay. Because at the end of the day, we really are only held to our own standards, right? In other words, I don't pay your bills, you don't pay mine. So if you're happy, then I'm happy. And if you're content with the tools that you're using, and I'm content with the tools I'm using, then what does it really matter? Now, I will say this, being someone who loves technology, I want to know about the new whatever is being released. I want to see what it is able to do. I don't really care about reading specs. I'm more of a, how does it actually perform type of person. The specs matter? Of course they do. But we know that specs are really driven by a marketing agenda, not by real world usage of anything. And that's really what I'm saying here. So there are going to be more cameras that are going to be announced. You know, like Panasonic had a launch event where they flew some people overseas to take a look at this one camera. And I'll say this, Gerald Undone did a phenomenal video where he talked about how these brands operate. And what I would ask anyone who cares to check out Gerald's video, because he actually made a very interesting point where he talks about how brands, some brands, not all brands, choose who they include in launches and who they don't include in launches based on the type of creator that that person is. And with what I just said, I want to make it crystal clear that I am absolutely okay with people who decided to make YouTube their career or are able to transition into a full-time YouTuber role, and that is what they do for a living, paying bills. And so you all know, and again, just to be clear, I also participate in affiliate marketing. Any of the links in the description of the video, they're affiliated links. I'm going to get a commission if any of you click on it and choose to spend your money. With that said, I will no longer, and haven't now for a long time, done a brand deal because I don't want to really tell you how to spend your money. I'm much happier saying, hey, by the way, this is how I use this camera, or this was my experience with these headphones, or whatever it is that I might be talking about, rather than you should upgrade whatever you're using, or Canon forgot about you because they don't care about creators. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that says, whatever you're using is a nuclear overkill. It is. If it's been released in the last 4 years, 5 years, it is a nuclear overkill. And if you look at some of the creators, some of the people who talk about gear quite a bit, right? I'll use Maddie again. He owns an Arri Alexa LF. There is like no chance in my mind that he doesn't have access to the tools that will challenge his creative intent. I just don't see how that is possible. He owns one of the top tier cameras in the world. So the R1, maybe not catering to someone who vlogs, doesn't mean it's going to be a bad camera. And it doesn't mean that if you're the type of professional that can benefit from whatever the R1 is able to deliver, that you shouldn't consider it if you've outgrown your existing gear or if you're thinking about replacing your gear. But I don't really believe that anyone today needs to spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 on a new camera system if you don't have a need for it. If you have a need for it, then your answer's already there and you know it. So I'm not one to bash any one camera company. I think Canon moves at Canon's pace. I think Red moves at Red's pace. Used to. I don't know what's going to happen here with the Nikon or Nikon thing. I think Sony does what Sony does. And again, I would encourage all of you to watch Gerald's video because he did a terrific job of breaking down at least how brands treat him. And he goes right down the list on all the brands. And I was actually really appreciative of his candor and his willingness to share that information. What do you guys think? Are you guys interested in the R1? Will you be picking one up? Does it make sense for the type of work that you do? What type of work are you doing? Let me know in a comment. If you enjoy this content, let me know. Smash the like button. If you want to subscribe, we'll try to make more of these raw talk videos. Until next time, I'm Carlos, and take care.